Thanks for joining us. It's now clear that the country's legislators are not in favor of the passage of the RTI bill. Yesterday, the House suspended consideration of the Rights to Information bill after questions were raised about lack of quorum. Member of Parliament for Dansia Sokwa Katie Hammond told Joy News the passage of the bill will grind to the halt the work of government. But how is that possible? Majority Leader in Parliament, Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, also a couple of days ago told Joy News' parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gakpo the House cannot be pressured into passing the bill after a group dressed in T-shirts advocating the passage of the bill registered their displeasure about the lackadaisical attitude of the House towards the passage of the bill. The RTI bill has been on the floor.
We know what we must do. We are not responding to any pressure. We know what we must do, and we'll do it. The people of this country have sent us here to do a good job for them, and that is what we are going to do.
Isn't that why we are where we are?
So why should anybody exert pressure on you before you do what you are expected to do? Nobody should rush Parliament. We will do what is expected of us and be very diligent about our job.
A gold mine for journalists, he says it. It is not a gold mine for the generality of the populace. The journalists, it's just the same way you are going about it. I can understand. You need it because gold nuggets are in there everywhere for journalists. That's what you need. One single slip, ministers can't operate. Governments cannot proceed effectively. Governance cannot take place meaningfully with this sort of I don't call a sword of whatever hanging at this albatross riding around you. Understand? You need a peace of mind to run a government. You need to concentrate to run them. If you have a bill like bring this before the ink even dries on it, somebody's asking for it, bring this document. This or that. How you to the extent that we're talking about communication between president and the vice president, the cabinet, and this and that. Potentially, you can have. So there will be no secret in government.
It's a free society where information is readily available. Rather enhance development.
Nobody disputes that. No relevant information. You see, it isn't everything that the public is interested in, which is in the public interest. We should be careful about that. Yes, free society and all that. That is the journalist jargon. Free society, freedom, whatever. Sit on the seat of an administrator, and then you'll be looking over your shoulders what the next journalist is going to call for. Before 2000, the average call or request for information in the British government, I think, was about 170 or whatever. The first 3 years after 2005, when it came into effect, the first 3 years, the information request had gone to 300,000.
Katie Hammond, Member of Parliament there. Let's speak with Elvis Darko. He is with the Media Coalition on the RTI. Elvis, thanks for joining us. First, the House couldn't work on the RTI bill because there was a question about there not being enough MPs on the floor. What's your view on this?
Well, we are saddened by what happened yesterday because we believe that if this should repeat itself regularly, then the November 15th deadline that the majority leader gave may not be met. And this House may rise again, not passing the bill. So we're very alarmed when we got the information yesterday. And we hope and pray, and we are looking out to see what will happen in Parliament today.
Are there any more options left for the Media Coalition beyond demonstrating?
Oh, there are so many options. Demonstration is just one. When we are on every network talking about it, it's a way of telling them that we need it. We believe that wherever they find themselves, when it's a public place, we will soon be chasing them there with our placards and everything, asking them to pass the bill. So we are not going to relent in our efforts. Whatever that needs to be done, we think we can do to push for the passage of this bill, we will do.
Now, Dansia Sokwa MP Katie Hammond says that this is a bad law because government officials will not be able to focus on their work. What do you say to that?
Well, if the UK government he cited as an example is still working efficiently, then what he said has no basis. Because as we speak, there is no evidence that the UK government is not able to work because of a freedom of information law. So the very example he gave, there's no evidence to support it that the UK government is not able to work. So that example itself does not support his argument. So I don't believe in that. Public office has rules and regulations. If you follow the rules and regulations in a public office, anybody asks for any information, you will not be afraid to give it out. Unless what you are doing is contrary to the rules and regulations of your office. That's the only way you'll be afraid to release the information. So if the UK government is still functioning and there has not been any complaint that because of RTI law in UK, the government has run to a halt, then what he's saying has no basis.
Thank you, Elvis Darko, for joining us. He is editor for the Final newspaper and a member of the Media Coalition on the Right to Information Bill. Thanks for joining us. Now, bad roads remain a major challenge and continue to impede the movement of goods and people in the country. The situation is no different on the Drobo-Sampa roads in the Jamai North and South districts of the Brong-Ahafo region. Drivers and passengers who risk losing lives whilst traveling on the badly deteriorated stretch are calling on governments to end their nightmares by fixing the road.
Sampa is the district's capital for Jaman North, which shares border with Jaman South, Tyne, Banda and parts of Ivory Coast. Located in the Bonafo region, the only means of transport is by road to one of the country's leading cashew-producing districts. Roads linking Sampa to other districts are always busy due to the transportation of cashew and other foodstuff to parts of the country and beyond. All roads connecting Sampa to Drobo through Suma, Ahinkra and other towns are all in very deplorable states. Drivers struggle to transport the sick and pregnant women from Sampa to Drobo. There are cases where some have died while en route to the hospital. The Jaman North District Assembly continues to lose revenue because businesses and other economic activities continue to suffer due to the bad nature of the roads. Some passengers and drivers in Sampa who spoke to Joy News say the situation is worse when it rains.
Looking at the roads around Sampa here is not good. From Drobo to wherever around this place is very bad. The roads are very bad. When you are traveling, sometimes you just have to go through some sort of panicking and whatever. We want the government to come to our aid and just help us with the roads around here.
It is very sad if you have to drive a sick or pregnant person to Drobo. The person may die before arrival. We are really suffering since we have nobody to help us. But we trust you will convey our concerns to the government. Passengers complain when it rains as they walk through the mud. We have complained about the situation for years. They must fix the road to befit the status of a district capital.
The Ghana Private Road Transport Union Secretary in Sampa, Yao Gideon, wants government to fix the road.
A place we also park our cars, so there is no quota. So sometimes our cars become very dirty when they go on the way and they come back. And then our roads too, we have a very big problem on that. Every day we have been complaining about our roads. So we are pleading, if the government and then the MP and the officials over here can help us and then maintain our roads for us, or give us a very big place we can use as our station.
The Bonafo Regional Director of the Ghana Highway Authority, Engineer Frederick Adukwe, tells Joy News a proposal for the upgrading of the 21.5-kilometer Sampa to DBB portion has been submitted for consideration and approval by the Roads and Highways Ministry. The MP for Jaman North, Siaka Stevens, said sometimes his constituents are cold towards him due to the state of the roads. He, however, assures the central government has heard the appeals, assuring that the contractor will be on site to start work soon.
From Wenchi to Sampa is west. Suma to Sampa is west. Sampa Township is west. So there's nothing we can do apart from the government listening to the call of the people. And I hope, from where I'm coming from, 2 weeks' time, this nature of the road will not be seen again. People are already upset. They don't want to see me at all. And I thank my minister, I thank Nanado, I thank Honorable Asenso, Deputy Minister or Deputy Chief of Staff. No, Sampa is a leading cashew producer, district. When we come cashew season, the number of agricultures will be uncountable. All other activities are going down all the roads. We won't talk about the referral cases. That is worse. We don't have an ambulance, and these taxis that you see, the whole thing, we are in a very pathetic situation. So I hope the government will listen to us.
Now, away from that, Permanent Secretary of the ECOWAS Network of Electoral Commissions, Francis Oke, is lamenting the funding of political parties and elections by Western organizations. Speaking on the sidelines of an election training program for some selected journalists in West Africa, Mr. Oke warned countries within the sub-region stand the risk of compromising their sovereignty by receiving such assistance. Maxwell Agbagba was in Abuja for the training and now reports.
About 30 journalists from various ECOWAS member states converged at Abuja for the training. The workshop, organized by the ECOWAS Network of Electoral Commissions, was to equip media people with the needed skills in effective election reporting. The selected journalists who attended the program called on the regional body to step up efforts in ensuring more women are elected and appointed. A commissioner of Sierra Leone's National Election Committee, Miata French, supports the call.
And even though countries have been signing up to these protocols, especially, for example, the CEDAW, and some of them have even gone as far as to customize them, but we find that women's participation is still very, very low. In fact, in some countries it's going down. And I think the discussion was a way to go around it. And the mind of the group seemed to be that if ECOWAS were to come up with something that countries signed up to say, that they were going to make a commitment to increase the female participation, then that would help.
Spokesperson of the ECOWAS Network of Electoral Commissions, Paul Ejime, has been enumerating some challenges with the organization of elections within the sub-region.
They go from capacity, logistics, and then managerial, and then, man management. I mean, like capacity that I'm talking about, because of the conflict that has, taking hold of so many countries, they lack the capacity. Then money. Election is very expensive, and that is why CONEC, remember, they just finished a study about cost of elections. And that is they have to make it, it has to be cost effective, to be inclusive, to be participatory, and then to also make sure that everybody participates. Because if it becomes too expensive, then it defeats the whole purpose.
Permanent Secretary of ECONEC, Francis Oke, fears funding of political parties and elections by Western organizations could jeopardize the sovereignty of countries within the sub-region.
That means the consequence is that when you accept a donor fund to organize your election, they will impose you anything they want. You cannot refuse because you have already sold your sovereignty. That's what I understand. So we have to struggle and plan ahead. Election is every 4 years or every 5 years. Why not plan when you finish one election, start planning to secure money for next election? So that is the question we have to ask our African leaders or ourselves. There are some countries, 70% of the budget is from donor. There are some countries they cannot start activity if donor didn't give fund. Where is our sovereignty? That's where we have to work. It's a big challenge.
Participants expressed their commitments to use the experiences shared to improve their reports. Maxwell Agbagba reporting from Abuja for Joy News.
You're still watching Joy News today. I am Daniel Daze. We'll be back after these important messages. Thanks for staying with us. Now, this morning, the Cosmos Innovation Challenge came to a successful end with Profish and Tech Shelter winning the seed funding out of the competing startups. We'll cross over live to the Marriott Hotel in Accra, where Karen Dodo is standing by. Good afternoon, Karen. What's the latest?
Good afternoon, Daniel. So, yes, we are here at the Marriott Hotel, and the Investment Award ceremony just ended. And this year, 5 final teams, walked away with an investment award over 500,000. That's in total. And the teams are Profish, Tech Shelter, Soul Solutions, Quidex, and Growth Factor. Now, the latest, the innovative one this year is they had DIA also investing into other teams, making the total number of teams 5. So, Cosmos Energy Ghana invested in Profish and Tech Shelter, whereas DAI invested in Soul Solutions and Quidex, and then MEST also invested in Growth Factor. So, the 2 main winning teams are Profish, who go with $50,000, Tech Shelter also with $50,000, then Soul Solution and Quidex have $10,000 each, and then MEST invest with Growth Factor, and they give them a working space. So that's how it's been today, Daniel. All the teams are excited, and from the speeches they all gave, you can see that even though some of them, 3 of them did not win anything, they feel it's been a very educative experience for them. And winning or not winning, they are prepared to go on with their business, and they're saying that they're grateful to Cosmos for all that they've done for them. But I've been joined here by the country manager of Cosmos Energy Ghana, Mr. Joe Mensah, and he's going to tell us more about the other parts of the package, and that includes invitation to the KIC incubator space and then also a co-working space. So Mr. Mensah is going to tell us what exactly this means. Hello, sir.
Good morning. Yeah, thanks for having me over. As I said, we want to create a fellowship moving forward. So we provide the seed funding, and then we bring them to the incubator. Incubator is where we will continue to help them nurture their business, and so that they'll be ready for prime time when they come out. And then the co-working space, meaning that we have a place where they can come and be able to have a conducive environment to really do their work and continue to nurture. So all those are the factors that we want to place in place so that their business can really pick up.
You earlier said on stage that all 8 teams did a very impressive job. But then what really went into the selection of Profish and then Tech Shelter as the 2 ultimate teams that Cosmos Energy chose to sponsor?
One of the things that we're looking for is real passion. And one thing we did differently this year was that before they got to the final pitch, we gave them funding to go out and test their business principles with real people in the marketplace. That is something we had not done yesteryear, but we tried to do that this year, and it made a world of a difference. So they came back and they have feedback on their business through real people that they will potentially be selling to, and they refined it. So we look at how they changed that, the delta that we saw before and after, and also how they presented themselves. Because you don't want to create this as just a presentation medium, but rather you do something that has real meaning, that you believe in it. You've done all your homework and connected all the dots and then crossed all the T's. That's what we use to be able to differentiate. But to be honest with you, all 8 teams were very, very close. It was just a hair difference between first and second and third. So we think that we are onto something.
So 2018 Agritech Challenge is coming to an end, but then we know that 2019 is going to start soon as applications are open. Tell me more. What should we expect? And anybody listening out there, what do you have to say to the person somebody who is having second thoughts about moving into agriculture?
We have really tried to create agriculture in a manner where the youth will be attracted to. That's why we brought the innovation and technology into the space. And I think that is caught on. So the young people out there who are looking at this, I encourage them all to participate. You will walk in with some anxiety and trepidation, but when you come, we will help you get rid of all of that so that you can really take the principles and learn. And as you heard from the testimony that people were giving up here, the whole process of 9 months that they've been with us, it's changed their lives. Things that they didn't really get in their formal education setting. And they have unlearn and learn something new. And that was very, very touching to hear that from the young ones. So I think we're on to something.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So you had the country manager of Cosmos Energy Ghana, Joe Mensah. And like he says, the applications for the 2019 edition are open. So anybody out there ready to make a mark in the agriculture value chain should make the chance and pick up a form. Back to you, Daniel.
Thank you, Karen, for that report. Let's move to other issues now. In the Parliament's Youth and Sports Committee has summoned officials of the FIFA Normalization Committee to come and respond to questions on recent developments in Ghana football. The move comes on the back of the life ban on the former JFA president, Kwesi Nyantakyi. We'll go to the phone lines where Joseph Opoku Gakpo, our parliamentary correspondent, has more details. Joseph, how did this call come about, and more importantly, why now?
And so this is an item that's tabled for next week, Tuesday, when we are expecting that members of the committee will be meeting Youth and Sports Committee led by Mr. Kofi Jakum, the MP for football. We understand that the MPs want to get a fair sense of the work that the committee has been doing since they were appointed. And we understand that with the duration that they've been given to work, the committee wants to get a sense of how much progress they've made and when they intend bringing in various officials for them to fully take over when it comes to the management of Ghana football. And so that's what the committee members are seeking to understand, which is why they are asking them to show up next Tuesday for them.
Great. What is their expectation of the Normalization Committee and that meeting?
And so they would want to get some details on what exactly they've been doing to help bring back normalcy when it comes to Ghana football. They would also want to get a sense, we gather, on issues about how they are doing the necessary financing for the activities. And most importantly, we gather that the committee members are concerned about how come when it comes to issues like the local league, it's not been ongoing. So they would want to get a sense of how come, that has been the case, and when, for example, local football will resume.
Right. Joseph, finally, a lot of questions have been raised about the speed with which government has been dealing with the investigation into the number 12 documentary that Anas Anas put out in June. Some have compared FIFA's timelines, for instance, to government. Have the members of parliament been responding to these concerns?
Yes, so this is the question that various members of parliament, the ranking member on the Youth and Sports Committee, Kwabena Wayomi, and other members of parliament, particularly on the minority side, like Dr. Clement Park, have been commenting on them. They think that with what we've seen from FIFA, the actions they've taken against Nyantakyi, it's about time that the authorities and the police act in and bring the necessary sanctions against them. Dr. Clement Park, for example, thinks with the revelations coming from FIFA, it's about time that an independent committee was established to look into this particular issue, when in fact he made a call on the president to establish an independent committee of inquiry because he claims that there is more of a cover-up. That's how come no action is being taken against Kwesi Nyantakyi here in Ghana, although FIFA is taking a lot of action against him. But then the conversation on football is expected to again dominate discussions later today because any moment from now, we're expecting the Minister for Youth and Sports to appear before MP to respond to questions on the construction of the new Edibiase Sports Stadium. There are issues about the progress of work on that. And in a written response that he gave, even before he appears before the committee in movement from now, he disclosed that with the new Edibiase Sports Stadium, a former Minister for Youth and Sports in the NDC administration handed over 1.6 million Ghana cedis to the contractor who was running the project in cash. And that this cash that was handed over to him is something that was not captured in either the 2015 or the 2016 budget. And so they've asked national security to investigate what the source of funding was and how come that money was handed over to the third contractor in cash by the former minister in the NDC regime. But there will be more questions on that in moments from now when the minister appears on the floor to respond to questions from MPs.
Right, Joseph, it's going to be a very busy day in Parliament, but what has been going on since morning, apart from the call by the Youth and Sports Committee?
So the House is debating the report of the Appointment Committee of Parliament on the recent vetting that was done. That was last Friday and then Monday, which involved 6 different ministers. The Minister Designate for Information, Kujopo Nkoma, as well as the Minister Designate for the Bonahafo region, Evans Poku Bobie, Minister Designate for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Cynthia Mamle Morrison, as well as the Minister Designate for the Upper East Region, Paulina Abayage, and 2 other deputies, including the Deputy Minister for Grand Hafo Region Designate, Oti Jakon, and one other one. In fact, the House is debating that report, and any moment from now, they'll be approving these said individuals so that then the President can go ahead and swear them in. But the minority, they are raising issues with the Deputy Minister Designate for the Grand Hafo Region. They say there is a constitutional requirement that anyone going into a deputy ministerial position, first, there should be a consultation with a substantive minister there before the deputy minister is appointed. They say when it comes to the deputy minister for the Bona Hafo region, that consultation was not done, and the basis for that is that his minister is also now being approved, and that after the time of his appointment, there was a substantive minister. They think that's an illegality. The president erred in that regard, and they are raising objections to that, but the House is still debating the report, which the majority has vehemently disagreed with. Samuel Akatiam, the MP for Buakwa, for example, this is something that per the Constitution, it's not mandatory. The President may or may not consult. So they're still debating that particular report.
Thank you very much, Joseph. We would have to come back to you later in the day to get the updates on the Youth and Sports Minister's appearance and, of course, the approval or otherwise of these nominees for various ministerial positions. Thanks for coming through there. Now, we're moving on. The Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair is taking off this afternoon at the Nungwa Mall, the Nungwa Junction Mall at 4 p.m. Joy Prime Channel Coordinator Gladys Osei-Usu will join me in studio in a moment for more on what to expect at this year's fair. But before that, take a look at this.
It's the 3rd edition of the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair. Come witness Ghanaian originality, authenticity, and rich culture as we display Ghanaian inventions, locally made clothing, shoes, bags, jewelry, chairs, Ghanaian music, and many others at the Junction Mall, Nungwa Barrier, from the 1st to 4th November, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day.
On Friday, 2nd November, 8 p.m. sharp, top DJs face off in our DJs Banter with our stellar lineup of presenters from Joy Prime and Hit FM. Fashion will definitely meet music on Saturday, 3rd of November at 7:30 p.m. sharp as Ghana's Made in Ghana brand ambassador, Ochami Kwame, the rap doctor, gives us the biggest show of a lifetime.
If you're a fan of Joy Prime and Hits FM, you stand the chance to compete with your favorite celebrities at the cooking competition on Sunday, 4th November at 3 p.m.
This year's Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair is packed with lots of activities and many other surprises, starting from the 1st of November to Sunday, 4th of November from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day. For any info, just holler these numbers: 0274 020 699 and 050 214 8535.
This event is brought to you by Joy Prime and powered by Hits 103.9 FM. Sponsored by Suzy Herbal, Virgin Port Cosmetics, Olive Paints, Justy Fashion Limited, Awokomi, Kaiser Apple, Power Health Products, Home Foods, and Piano Bar. Media partners: Joy FM, Adom FM, Asempa FM, Insura FM, Love FM, Swag of Africa, Konkonsa, Zion Felix, AmeaDebra.com, and Ronnie is everywhere.
Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair 2018.
And that's what you can expect as this year's Made in Ghana Fair, which takes off in a few hours. Now, Gladys joins me in the studio, like I said earlier, to tell us a bit more about this. Gladys, welcome.
Thank you, Daniel.
It's finally here, isn't it?
Yes, it's
Been
finally
talking about
here.
it for so long.
Yes, I'm excited because on ground, preparations are ongoing, and we are poised to actually market to Ghana and to the whole world what Ghana has, the exciting things that Ghanaians are doing lately. You don't have to travel out to find special things anymore because it's all right here in Ghana with us.
And I was told yesterday that we have about 100 exhibitors in every sector possible.
Sure. And, so the products that we are displaying at the Junction Mall is ranging from fashion accessories. What I am wearing, I'm excited. It's by Ghanaian. Conceptualized and pieced together by Ghanaian.
And we have another lovely
by Royal
piece here.
Dennis. Yes. I brought you a girlfriend, actually. So
I'm flattered, Gladys.
You should be. And you know, it's interesting to know that even these days, the suit you're wearing, you find Ghanaians actually coming up with bespoke. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, we're doing very exciting things from cosmetic products to food items to gadgets. We're making cars. We're generating our own paint. You know, so we're doing a whole lot. And in terms of even online markets and stores and places, we're doing that. Right. And when it comes to money exchanges, payments, plans, and all that, we have people coming up with apps in terms of IT. So, I mean, Ghana is really, really opened up here.
But the Made in Ghana fair is not just about the amazing products coming, isn't it? There are so many activities
There are
involved.
so many activities involved. So, for instance, after the opening today, which is actually on at 4 p.m., tomorrow we say that come and jam it off with a Friday jam. And we're dishing out quality Ghanaian songs over the years to the patrons to ensure that everybody is reminded that you should be a proud Ghanaian. We have this going on with a proud support from our sister station, Hits FM, and the DJs and presenters are going to face it off and make sure that the patrons there are thrilled to their marrow. And so we're making sure Friday is good. Then on Saturday, we have the fashion night and the music concert. So the fashion night, we have our presenters, both Joy Prime and Hits FM, hitting the runway in custom-made clothes from our own designers, supported by GTP. Everything is Ghanaian, authentically Ghanaian. And then the music is by Ochiame Kwame as our headline artist, with other exciting artists who have all, you know, come to say we want to support Made in Ghana because we are proud Ghanaians. And you know, as Ochiame Kwame says in his song, the Made in Ghana, he says that take me to London, you can take me to Lagos, but I am made in Ghana. And so no matter what you do, once you are a Ghanaian, you must be proud as Ghanaian.
And then on Sunday? On
Sunday, we have the cooking competition, and that is also going to be competed by our own presenters. And the fans get to be the judge to, you know, tell the presenter who is a good cook. And so you just imagine if you cook and your fans think you're not a good cook, you know how I mean, that will translate on. So yes,
I hope they're able to make enough for all the fans to taste. That's all I
trust so too. And I mean, everything is free. Okay. Everything is free. You don't pay to access anything except the things you want to take home.
Of course. Thank you so much, Gladys.
Thank you, Daniel,
for joining us. So it begins at 4 p.m. today. It runs through till Sunday. Join us at the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair. We're going to talk some business now. Emmanuel Abaji, we are standing by. Stay with us.